I got to thinking this morning, all these school shootings and craziness going on in school. We didn't have that back in the day. I don't ever remember a school shooting. Now, they had some crazy stuff going on in colleges, but in my day, we got to drive to school, our own vehicles. And most of the time, during hunting season and stuff, we had shotguns and rifles and stuff in our vehicles at school. Life was totally different back then. When you went home at night, you watched the local news. We really didn't have cable or satellite or cell phones. So unless something really bad happened somewhere, like an earthquake, tidal wave, you pretty much didn't hear about it. So you were kind of worried only about your immediate area. Things were kind of different in school back then. You learned how to read, write, math, all your basics. And believe this or not, we had auto class, taught you how to work on cars, and the guys went to home economics, where we learned how to bake coffee cake. I'm not kidding you. I still remember how to make that coffee cake today, and I'm older than dirt. And when you got to the 11th and 12th grade, we went to, I can't remember the name of it now, but it was just down the road. It was a huge place where they taught trades. Like, they used to build a house every year inside this big building, like the first prefabs known to man. Real carpenters would teach. Votech is what they called it. There, it came back to my brain. If you were interested in carpentry, you went for 2 hours a day and you built a house. At the end of the year, they would sell that house, and that house would buy the materials and everything for the next year. I went to auto class in Votech, where I learned how to work on cars and trucks, and we would build cars and sell them. You know, they would sell them. We wouldn't sell them. They'd sell them at the end of the year, and we would sell magazine subscriptions, candy bars, cans of nuts. We would learn how to do business in auto class. We would learn how to do salesmanship, all that stuff. We would raise money for our own classes. And they were sneaking it in that we were learning business and, you know, how to talk to people. Me and 3 other people went to a local company. It was one of my friend's idea. And we went over and said, they want to build a new auto shop at high school. So we have it right there at our own school. And if you'll match donations, we'll go out and sell whatever you want us to sell. Whether it's cookies or peanuts or whatever, or have bake sales, we'll do whatever. And that company doubled like if we made $50, they'd give us $100. So other companies got on board after that. We had a 4-bay, fully working auto shop the next year to pass on to the rest of the students. Now, I'm kind of sad about that now because they don't have it anymore. We passed it on for people of the future to learn what we did. And a lot of my stuff in future years, where I ran a business years later, and everything I learned from that came from that. I didn't go to college. I learned it all in high school. And now that beautiful auto shop is a janitor's office. None of the children, no wonder they're mad. They're locked up in school, learning God knows what, and everything that we had to boost our life is gone. Now, we did have some crazy time. What would they call that place? Crazy times at Ridgemont High? Well, my school wasn't called Ridgemont High, but we did have some crazy times. But we were blowing off steam. I remember one time, I'm not going to say his name because he's related to me, got the idea for his senior stunt, he was going to tape up his license plate on his motorcycle and he was going to drive it through school. Well, I was sitting there in the cafeteria eating lunch, and as soon as I saw this motorcycle whizzing down through the hallway, I knew who it was. I was laughing. They never caught him, though. Now, every time I did something, we got caught. For my senior year, we decided we were going to drive around the football field, the road and track, went around it. And we decided we were going to go around that. Well, that stunt cost me $1,200, which I paid. And it wasn't on my record or anything after that because I paid for it because ended up doing a donut on the football field. But doing something like that doesn't end people's lives. We knew how to blow off steam, and we knew to have respect for the teachers that respected us. We had one that was an alcoholic, and she was crazy. Well, every time something happened to her, the first person they blamed was me, even if I didn't do it. So one of my friends did do something, though. They were over at my house on my phone, and they kept calling her in the middle of the night on a Sunday night, playing We Don't Need No Education on the telephone. It's the first time I ever got suspended for 2 days. No, we didn't get to go home and just hang out for 2 days. We got in-school suspension. We had to sit in this room all day and write a paper on what we felt we did wrong. Man, I did not ever want to get suspended again. Plus, when I got the suspension, my butt was so sore, I couldn't sit down very well, and it hurt the whole time I was there. I want to thank my father for giving me a little bit of inspiration on that day, because he taught me right from wrong. Even if I didn't always do right, I knew I was doing wrong, and I knew I was going to get in trouble. But even with all the stuff we did, and all the stuff we learned, nobody in my high school ever chased anybody down with a gun or a knife. And we were going through the early part of the 80s when the cocaine and the speed and that whole crisis was out there. But people really didn't like the people that were doing that stuff. You know, there'd be like 3 or 4 of them. And they were trying to sell their speed. It was a crazy time. But we learned in school. We learned right from wrong. We learned the value of sports. We learned a whole lot of stuff. So minus the driving around the track and field, I really hope somebody one day puts back VOTEC and home ec and all that back in the schools. When you go on in your life, you have the building blocks to keep going. You ain't got to worry about, you get a job at a restaurant, you already know how to make something. You know how it works. You have that building block in your bag. Kids are smart and they will learn. Even when they sneak that stuff in, like selling candy bars, you're learning. You're learning the value of hard work. Even though in my case, the things that we built, they turned into something else, took it away from the children. I hope one day that they will learn that children are smart, not to drug them up and on Ritalin and all that stuff. Give them something to do. Give them something to excel at. Well, that's my little rant for the day. Thank you for listening, and I'll be back later. And if you really like this, hit a thumbs up, give me a comment, give it a share. Thank you. I appreciate each and every one of you. Have a great day.